What's going on, guys? Welcome to Comic Island. My name is Joey, and today I'm giving you guys what you've all been waiting for. Ever since my mistitled top 10 carbon copy characters, you guys have told me that you wanted a top 10 copycat characters list. So here it is. But before we get into that, I do want to mention that I stumbled upon tons and tons of copycat characters. Be warned, guys, this is basically going to divide you in half. Are you a Marvel fan or are you a DC fan? So let's agree to disagree in the comments below. So without further ado, I present to you Comic Island's top 10 copycats list. Starting off the list, we got the Merc with the Mouth Deadpool and DC's most deadliest assassin, Deathstroke the Terminator. Unlike most of the characters on this list, we know that Deadpool is a direct copy of Deathstroke. Slade Wilson arrived on shelves in the pages of the New Teen Titans in 1980, and Wade Wilson entered the scene in 1991. His creator, Rob Liefeld, wanted to draw the Terminator Slade Wilson, but couldn't, so he created his own, calling him Wade Wilson. Now, depending on what source you're running with, Liefeld's story can differ. But the definitive truth is that Marvel's Deadpool is extremely heavily inspired by DC's Deathstroke. So let's take a look at their similarities, their alias being Deathstroke and Deadpool, real name Slade Wilson versus Wade Wilson, their occupation being mercenaries, and when it comes to outfit, Deathstroke sports a two-toned bodysuit of black and orange versus Deadpool's two-toned bodysuit of black and red. With weapons both utilizing various firearms, but Slade is often seen with one sword, whereas Wade got himself two katanas. With abilities, both are extremely smart and has a healing factor. Now this is where the little differences come in. Deathstroke has a formidable healing factor, but Deadpool's regeneration is so strong that he can survive extreme mutilation and even decapitation. When it comes to intelligence, Deathstroke is the master planner that can carry out his missions with extreme precision, whereas Deadpool, while his unpredictable nature can be his undoing, this can easily confuse his opponents, which is enough for the Merc with a mouth to come out victorious. What about the source of power? Deathstroke credits the United States military for the experimental super soldier serum that gave him his superhuman abilities, whereas Deadpool can say thanks to the Weapon X program on Canadian soil, which turned him a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now this is where the similarities end. Deadpool was created as a parody of Deathstroke and has since become entirely something else. Slade has remained the mature, calm, and cool mercenary plaguing the Teen Titans and would offer his mercenary services to other DC villains, whereas Wade Wilson has branched out from the XMen franchise to be his own man.
Whatevs. You know, I got a healing factor that makes Wolverine go like,
I wish I had Deadpool's healing factor, bub.
It's all in my origin story.
We saw the wisecracking man-child time travel, kill the Marvel Multiverse, discover his own core, and even break the fourth wall. Wade Wilson now spends most of his time fighting presidents. Dead presidents. Elongated Man, also known as Ralph Dibny, and Mr. Fantastic, known as Reed Richards, are obviously characters from the same vein. About the only difference in these two characters is how they got their powers. Elongated Man admired contortionists as a teenager. He learned that most contortionists drank a popular soda called Gin Gold. He was also an expert chemist, so he created a highly concentrated form of Gin Gold. This gave him his powers of elasticity. While Elongated Man was busy creating a soda, Mr. Fantastic was bombarded by cosmic rays while he and his team were on a mission in space. Their origin is about the only difference presented between these two characters. Both characters exhibit the powers of elasticity. They have rubbery skin that allows them to stretch their bodies and also shapeshift to a certain degree. Both characters are brilliant scientists, providing mentorship and advice to their fellow superhero community. Among their physical similarities, both characters are some of the earliest to reveal their secret identities to the public. The similarities does not end there. Even though they are universes apart, they both seem to share a liking to the name Sue. Ralph would end up with his wife Sue Dibny, and Reed would take the hand of the invisible woman Sue Storm. But who came first? DC's Elongated Man would debut in 1960, and the following year, Marvel would have their stretchy hero answer in the form of Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. In our number 8 slot, we got the two female felines who's both a villain and sometimes a hero. Both being love interests to their franchise hero, they both have expensive taste and are expert thieves. Even though they have peak human abilities, they both do not have any superpowers. Well, that's not entirely true. Catwoman may be a standard human, but the Black Cat has an edge over her DC counterpart. Her probability field manipulation allows her to subliminally affect probability fields, which would cause improbable, though not impossible, events of bad luck to occur to her enemies within her line of sight. At first, this power of hers caused bad luck to all of those around her, but over time, with the help of scientists, she has gained a strong control of her power to command it when she deems fit. But Catwoman would not be outshined. First appearing in 1940, Selina Kyle has almost 40 years of media presence before Felicia Hardy ever donned her cat-theme outfit. So who did the flirtatious and villainous bad girl image better, DC's Catwoman or Marvel's Black Cat? Let's take a look at how they have affected their love interest. It's been a rocky road for Batman and Catwoman, but Selina, in some incarnations, has shown a sense of true love for the Dark Knight.
You can't deny there's something between us.
You're right. And I'm afraid it's the law.
She has gone from villain to anti-hero and has since been a strong ally to Batman and his Bat family. But crime is always in her blood. Well, not literally. In the New 52, we discover that her long-lost father, Rex Calabrese, was the original crime lord of Gotham, and now he wants her to retake the throne. Black Cat has an on and off relationship to Spider-Man. She still retains her life as a thief, but the actions of the superior Spider-Man have scorned her and have since pushed her back to the dark side. In the pages of the superior Spider-Man, the Cat bumps into Doc Ock in Spider-Man's body. Believing that the Cat to be just another criminal, he attacks and webs her up for the authorities to find. Now, the Cat has been officially revealed to be Felicia Hardy, and her personal life is gone. Instead of going the route of Catwoman, she now goes underground to amass a new criminal empire to take sweet, sweet revenge on the poor and innocent Peter Parker. The Marvel Marksman versus the Emerald Archer. These two masters of archery are the primary bow and arrow users of their respective franchise. But the basic arrows are not good enough when Barton and Queen are both on teams with super-powered heroes, each having a guy with godlike powers. Because of this pressure, these two bowmen will never miss. In his secret identity, he is Oliver Queen, living in Star City as a wealthy playboy and a billionaire industrialist turned outspoken socially progressive politician. What leads him to archery was the fact that he had to survive being alone on an abandoned island. With no other form of hunting tools, he taught himself the art of bow and arrow. Returning to his city, the bows got a lot more complex as he uses them to fight crime. First appearing in More Fun Comics issue 73 in 1941, Arrow has since been on many teams, most prominently as a member of the Justice League, which is, of its own argument, the mirror of Marvel's The Avengers.
I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. I've always treated Speedy well. Quick! Retrieve my bow from that crocodile pit!
Hawkeye arrives in 1964. An orphan who joined the circus, Clint Barton starts off as a reluctant villain and was trained by swordsman and trickshot in the ways of swordplay and archery. He later found a place with the Avengers and has been a prominent member ever since. Oliver Queen shot his first arrow in More Fun Comics in 1941, but Clint Barton would not be known till 1964's Tales of Suspense. The vigilante of Star City uses his mass resources to fund his extracurricular activities, whereas Hawkeye's expensive tech arrows are funded by Tony Stark. Both have no human superpowers, but their training has given them peak human abilities. The obvious reason why these two guys are counterparts is the fact that they favor the bow and arrow, plus technology. A lot of technology.
You know, I'm not so sure I want to be part of a team I have to rescue every week.
In at number 6, we got two half-breed leader of the mythical city of Atlantis. Both are the ruler of the underwater world and the lord protector of the seven seas. They share arguably the same powers of super strength, durability, and reflexes. Because of their heritage, they can swim at super speed and can see through the murky depths of the ocean floor. And of course, they can breathe underwater. Both characters have very serious demeanor and at times hot-tempered, Namor more so than Aquaman in my opinion. They do have a few differences though, like Aquaman's ability to telepathically speak with sea life and Namor's ability to fly. Wait. Half human, half underwater mermaid man can fly? Seems legit. Moving on. Namor Mackenzie, aka the Submariner, is a mutant son of a human sea captain and the princess of the Kingdom of Atlantis. Aquaman is a son of a lighthouse attendant and, yep, you guessed it, the princess of the Kingdom of Atlantis. Because of their unique genetic heritage, both of these underwater heroes are unique amongst humans and Atlanteans. Namor is basically half mutant and half Atlantean. Maybe that's where he got his flight powers from. Let's take a look at Aquaman. His half-blood heritage has given him certain powers that exceed human and Atlanteans alike. How this works, we don't know, but this is the world of comics, so that's all the reasoning we need. These two guys are natural-born leaders. They have historically led troops into battle with expert success. They also have a strong desire to protect Atlantis and the Seven Seas. This conviction would often lead the two kings of Atlantis to clash with the surface governments and other heroes. Namor Mackenzie, aka the Submariner, first appears in Marvel Comics issue 1 in 1939, the first known comic book anti-hero. Aquaman would debut in 1941, 3 years after Namor was created, but which one would you rather see as a king of Atlantis?
Sentinels of Atlantis, salute your ruler!
The Nova Corps is an intergalactic military policing force whose mission is to patrol the cosmos and tackle any spacefaring baddie who threatens the safety of their jurisdiction. Gaining their powers of super speed, strength, flight, and the ability to survive in the cold void of space for interstellar travel from a mysterious Nova Force, members of the Corps have similar costume design with the exception of a few design differences to signify their rank. Now replace the word Nova with Green Lantern and you will get the exact same result. The Green Lantern's weapon of choice instead of a cool looking helmet is their power ring. A Green Lantern can tap into the enormous resource of the power battery, which gives them the ability to project hard-light constructs to be used offensively or defensively. This power is only limited by their will.
Alright, back off! Don't forget, I've got one of these babies too! What do you know? It ran out of go juice.
The Nova Force, generated and controlled by the living computers of Xandar, is a source of power for the Nova and the entire Nova Corps. The amount of Nova Force a Corps member can access is determined by their rank. Both teams has a world as their home base. The Green Lanterns enjoy the high-tech green-themed world of Oa, whereas the Novas, called Xandar, the equally high-tech world filled with big blue oceans, as their home. Both teams have experienced devastation in their world and had to relocate elsewhere. The Novas at one time had Ego, a living-sized corpsman, as a new home. The Green Lanterns have utilized Mogo, the living planet, as a home after the destruction of Oa. Both sides has an army to back them up, but the Green Lanterns outnumber the Novas 3,600 to 500 members. Continuing on the trend of similarities, the Lanterns have a history they would want to forget. Their predecessor, the Manhunters, instead of protecting the peace, attempted to destroy all beings with emotions. And we got the Nova's dark secret. During the original Sin event, we discovered that the Novas were originally formed by thieves and killers. Now let's take a look at the first human corpsman. Richard Rider was selected to join up when a dying member of the Corps crash-landed on Earth, and the youngster happens to come across him, inheriting the mantle and power of Nova Prime. Oops, looks like that's the same origins of Hal Jordan. But who came first? Well, Richard Rider makes his debut in 1975, but Jordan beats Rider by 17 years, making his debut in 1959. So it wouldn't be a military policing force without its ranking system. The new Nova recruit will start out as a corpsman and would make his way up the hierarchy to Millennia, Denarion, and finally to Centurion. Richard Rider would be given the title of Nova Prime and briefly lead his team against the threats of the cosmos. A new Green Lantern will start out as a private without the badge of the Green Lantern. Known as recruits, once it's time for promotion, they will earn their badge of honor and make their way up the hierarchy from colonel to staff sergeant, corporal, sergeant first class, chief warrant officer, and if the position opens up, the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. Much like Richard Rider, Hal Jordan has followed his footsteps and is now leading the Green Lanterns. Unlike a military policing force, these rankings never really get mentioned, but rather, after rookie status, a Lantern is referred to as a corpsman and can best Kilowog as chief trainer or become an honor guard. Or if ambitious enough, become an Alpha Lantern who takes over internal affairs for the Corps. These two mechanical supervillains have plagued their respective universes in such a way that even death would not hold them down. Ultron and Brainiac benefit from an intelligence level so high that they can calculate many steps ahead of their target, giving these two an advantage. This intelligence also gives them knowledge and access to various alien and futuristic weaponry. Death has proven ineffective against these two mechanical menaces. We have seen the heroes victorious while Brainiac and Ultron are utterly destroyed. But their ability to transfer their consciousness into nearby tech makes it next to impossible to secure an everlasting victory against these two. Even though the main AI might have been destroyed, a backup copy would be hidden somewhere, only to one day come back and cause a smorgasbord of problems for our heroes. Ultron and Brainiac has shown the ability to be a one-man army. The size of their army will depend on how long they have to plan for their attack and on available tech nearby. With enough time to prepare, the army can engulf an entire world. Brainiac has proven his ruthlessness in the pages of Future's End, and Ultron, well, he practically took over the present and the future while killing many heroes along the way. Now let's take a look at their origins. Ultron was created by Hank Pym to help the world, but of course he rebelled and has taken on a personal mission to destroy all of mankind, deeming humans as a virus that is killing the planet. Brainiac has gone through a few origins from green-skinned alien to skeleton-like android, but my favorite origin is actually from the Superman animated series, which depicts Brainiac as an AI from the planet of Krypton. In this retelling of the origins of Brainiac, he is the central AI trusted by the Kryptonian Council. Brainiac was the first to discover a nuclear chain reaction that would destroy the entire world. The timeless story would tell us that Krypton would explode and Brainiac would transfer his intelligence to a satellite and begin his mission to catalog every single alien intelligence in the galaxy. These two are originally created to serve their master's vision for the future, but ultimately chose to rebel, and now are recurring villains in the Marvel and DC universe. So which mechanical maniac came first? Well, if we keep to our previous trend, DC Comics brought us one of Superman's deadliest foe back in 1958. Marvel would come up with a consistently upgrading AI called Ultron 10 years later.
My imperative is to bring peace and order to this world. I am about to fulfill that imperative. For the extinction of humanity begins now.
Coming in at number 4, we got a group of misfit teenagers with strange and awesome powers facing supervillains and fighting against bigotry and hate, who is led by a brilliant and compassionate wheelchair-bound man. Am I referring to the X-Men? Yes. Am I referring to the Doom Patrol? 242, you've got it. So let's take a closer look at their differences and similarities. The Doom Patrol debuted in June of 1963 and are a group of younger characters whose gifts made them outcasts. The world came to call them freaks and alienated them from normal society. Dr. Calder, aka the Chief, who's a wheelchair-bound man, took them in and created the Doom Patrol. As the Doom Patrol, they went on various missions to help protect the same people that treated them as outcasts. So now you know the less popular group. Now let's take a look at the more successful franchise that has already spawned 5 movies along with one spin-off. Well, in a nutshell, the X-Men are the exact same as the Doom Patrol. The minor differences are that the X-Men are born with mutant powers, whereas the Doom Patrol got their powers from accidents. They even fight the same villain group. The Brotherhood of Evil would haunt the Doom Patrol's nightmares, and the Brotherhood of Evil mutants will continue to plague the X-Men. So who came first? Well, we can use the word ripoff in this case. The X-Men issue 1 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby was published in September of 1963. That's just 3 months after the first appearance of the Doom Patrol. It looks like everyone's favorite Marvel mutants are the losers here, having arrived just 3 months after the Doom Patrol debuted in June of 1963. The idea of an autonomous android has been around for decades and has found its way into the world of comics. Red Tornado would find himself in DC Comics, and Marvel Comics would lay claim to the vision. Red Tornado debuted in 1968. Mere 2 months later, the Vision appears in the Avengers issue 57. Red Tornado came first, beating the Vision by 2 months. Both Android debuted with a red art design. Red Tornado would continue the red fashion trend, but the Vision has grown to pursue other color palettes. Evil scientist T.O. Morrow created the Red Tornado using advanced tech stolen from the future, while the evil robot Ultron created Vision using advanced tech from the past. Vision was supposed to bring down the Avengers, whereas Red Tornado was sent to kill the Justice Society of America. Both rebelled against their creator and joined the team they were supposed to kill. Both longed for human emotions and would experience the feeling of love for a human woman. Red Tornado would fall in love with Kathy Sutton, and the Vision would go on to marry his teammate Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. Their appearance at first mirrored each other, but these two have since grown their own unique look. But if you look closely, they still share a ton of cosmetic similarities, such as their red skin, lengthy body, and their desire to sport a cape. So who did the automaton with emotions better, DC or Marvel? Red Tornado found his way out of comics, appearing in Batman the Brave and the Bold, Justice League Unlimited, and the short-lived Young Justice. But the Vision has experienced quite a lot of success while being a part of the Avengers, and would be played by Paul Bettany in the Avengers Age of Ultron. The Man of Steel is arguably one of the most popular superheroes in the DC universe. With this much fame comes with a lot of copycats and ripoffs. The last son of Krypton's origin is timeless, and no one would be wasting your time by going over it. So let's jump right into some of the copycats for Superman. The Sentry is Marvel's answer to Superman if DC ever comes knocking. Created in 2000, Robert Reynolds, aka the Sentry, arrives on scene sporting an S symbol and has the powers of 100 exploding suns under his fingertips. Unlike Superman's alien heritage, the Sentry is human, who injected himself with a serum giving him powers such as super speed, super strength, extremely heightened senses, and energy absorption. He can redirect blasts out of his eyes and pretty much any body part he chooses. His blasts are not limited to solar energy, which includes radiation, concussives, and many more deadly beams meant to either stun or kill his targets. Now here are the differences. Robert Reynolds is a struggling addict, but while in his superhero form, he has a telepathic so powerful that he once wiped the memory of every person on the planet of knowledge regarding his existence. Take that, Professor X. Robert Reynolds suffers from the Jekyll and Hyde syndrome, where we see the Sentry every so often losing to the Void, his darker, evil, murderous villain side. So what about a good alien origin tale? This is where Hyperion comes in. This alien was born on the planet of the Eternals, and was sent from his planet to Earth before his world exploded. Found on Earth by a man known as Father, the alien child would be given the name Marcus, and be raised to be a tool to help society. This guy has the Superman basics, such as super strength, speed, reflexes, heat vision, and flight. Instead of absorbing solar rays, Hyperion stores cosmic energy into his cells. In one incarnation of Hyperion, we see him and his teammates as mirror images of the Justice League. The Squadron Supreme are super villains in the Marvel U, but coincidentally has the powers of the Justice League, Hyperion being the Squadron's version of Superman. This version of Superman is no different from the other two on the list. Originally created to be a violent, egotistical Superman archetype back in 1992 by Image Comics, Supreme has been rebooted by writer Alan Moore as a direct mirror of the Silver Age Superman. So let's take a look at Supreme's power set. Yep, you guessed it. Strength, invulnerability, flight, heat vision, frost breath, super speed, and the power to wear a cape. Let's take a look at his origin. The new version of Supreme gave us a better look at how he got his godlike powers. Mild-mannered Ethan Crane got his powers as a child, who got exposed to a meteorite composed of pure supremium. Supremium. Yep. Anyway, continuing on. When he is not doing his supremely awesome superhero thing, Ethan Crane is an illustrator drawing the adventures of Omni-Man, a Superman-like character. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm not making this up. Okay, so much like the last son of Krypton, Superman has a sister with identical superpowers. Suprema being a reference to Supergirl. There's even a superpowered dog called Radar the Hound, which is a direct nod to Krypto. and most of the villains that plague Supreme draws inspiration from Superman's rogues gallery. Supreme has an arch enemy named Darius Dax, who's a brilliant but manipulative evil business tycoon, aka Lex Luthor. Emerpus is the reverse version of Supreme from the Backwards Zone, where time runs opposite to our own, aka Bizarro. And the list goes on, and on, and on, and on. Alrighty, so let's jump into a few more Superman copycats and wrap this up. We got Gladiator, the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, who is heavily inspired by Superman. Kal-Lark got his name from the Man of Steel's undercover and superhero identity. When Clark Kent and Kal-El mix a baby, you get Kal-Lark, the Shi'ar Gladiator. And then comes his superpowers of flight, invulnerability, strength, heat vision, frost breath, and the power to wear the stylish cape. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my top 10 copycat characters list. I know there are tons of copycat characters out there, but I only have space for 10. So please let me know what are your favorite copycat characters in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time in another top 10 videos list.